We've got a doozy of a comic book to talk about this week. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Doc, and we're going to talk about Black Panther, the latest issue from John Ridley. Not a big John Ridley fan when it comes to comic book writing, but the first 3 or 4 issues of this series were pretty damn good. But I think he might have lost his damn mind here, Doc. What's going on, buddy?
Holy shit, was this fucking terrible. It also did nothing to change my opinion of John Ridley.
I think it's supposed to be satire, but I don't think John Ridley's funny. But he's also doing like really... I think it's supposed to be important social commentary, but also it's like really on the nose. It's really strange. They introduced the Colonialist to the story here, and it's these aliens, and they got these big smiley faces, and they're all dressed kind of like Southern gentlemen. And when he introduces himself to Black Panther, and this is mostly an Avengers comic, you're going to see all the Avengers in this comic book. But when the Colonialist leader introduces himself to Black Panther, he calls him Negro Feline. Or Negro Feline. I don't even. What the hell was that?
Yeah, it was like this weird literal translation from some alien goddamn language. Because he also calls Captain America Jingo Commando and Thor Aryan Warrior. Like, holy shit! Yeah, I get that this is supposed to be some kind of a like social commentary. I feel like it's a commentary on how people talk to each other, or the way translations work, or an attempt to make this colonialist character feel alien and like it doesn't know how to communicate with humans.
Well, it's really strange. I think, obviously I think the point is that colonialism is bad, and he's got his alien creatures grazing on Earth or something. I guess they took over Greenland. It's a lot of really strange stuff. It's kind of off the wall. Perhaps it's brilliant and it just went right over my head. We also see the Buffalo Soldier arrive, and when he meets Black Panther, he calls him Afro Cat.
I mean, it's obviously a commentary on colonialism. It's way too on the nose. But the way that it's so literal in whatever language that they actually speak to their translations, and the way that they address the characters in this, it's kind of creepy. Maybe some commentary on British colonialism of Africa or something. I have no fucking clue. You got these soldiers running around, that all of a sudden pop out of nowhere. And they
also had some caged animals, like when he rung the dinner bell and all of a sudden like they were released from their cages or something.
Yeah, I think it was those same things from issue 1. It made reference to that are unkillable, and they needed Doctor Strange's weird sciencey magic stuff to stop them, and apparently they had been grazing in a field or just penned up, and then the weird ventriloquist alien colonialist guy just rang the dinner bell like it's friggin' antebellum. It's weird.
I don't think this is a exceptionally well executed comic book. I understand what he's trying to get across, but there's so many elements that are so off-putting and weird, you kind of forget what he's actually trying to say in the story. And I think that's a real issue with what John Ridley's trying to do here. Also, when Cap and Black Panther start talking to each other, and Black Panther's been gone for a long time. He went out into space, then they had a civil war going on in Wakanda. He hasn't really been with the Avengers for well over a year, like in real time. And they're having this conversation sitting down. I don't think John Ridley's realized that these characters have talked to each other before.
I don't think John Ridley's ever realized that humans talk to each other, because as off-putting as the commentary for like the way that the colonialist character was talking to, Thor and Cap and Captain Marvel and Black Panther here, it was just as off-putting the way that Cap and Black Panther were conversing there. That's the way people that have never spoken to each other talk to each other. The way that people that don't even speak the same goddamn language talk to each other. It's really off-putting. John Ridley can't write. It's just that simple.
Well, you wrote some Authority stuff that you liked back in the day.
No, he didn't. He wrote the one Authority book that I fucking loathed, Human on the Inside. That was my first exposure to John Ridley as a comic book writer. And I'm like, who in the fuck is this clown, and why is he writing? That came out at the height of the Authority's popularity, and every Authority fan basically said, what the fuck is this?
Well, in his defense, every Superman fan said that when they read Superman Red and Blue. Although this was kind of decent. Like I said, when it opened up, the story was kind of interesting. They wanted democracy in Wakanda, and he was against it. And there was like a civil war kind of happening. He was calling all these sleeper agents. I was like, hey, this is a kind of a cool story. It's definitely taken a dramatic, weird twist and turn here. I don't understand how we got here within the framework of Black Panther. I kind of get what he's getting at, but even when it opens up with Black Panther T'Challa in space, just talking about how his life is meaningless and he's never accomplished anything. And I'm going, does John really not know who T'Challa is? He's very confident. He's aware that he's a hero. He's aware that he's the king of Wakanda. He's aware that he's the Black Panther. He's aware that he's accomplished a lot. In fact, I wouldn't go out to say that he's like braggadocious like Tony Stark, but he's not exactly a humble character.
No, not by any stretch. T'Challa he has that sense of superiority that is very earned. He tones it down, but he still has that air of regal monarchy that goes with him. This is like if John Ridley was writing 14-year-old nihilistic emo T'Challa. This would have been a fine start for, the Killmonger version of the character, that we got in the movie. That's what he would have been going through. Like, I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. T'Challa, there is no way he'd have this kind of weird existential crisis and then have it portrayed with him just sitting in the void of space. Maybe this is all just super duper smart and I'm just a big idiot and I don't get it.
You think maybe John Ridley has already run out of ideas, like stories to tell with T'Challa, and he's just kind of throwing crap at the wall? He's like, let me talk about colonialism and let's do it right on the nose because I have nothing more to say about the character?
I think you might be onto something here. It feels like the first half of like maybe his first 6 or 8 issues, whatever it was, what was this, issue 9? He wanted to do this whole commentary on, a monarchy and spreading democracy and everything like that. And then he's like, oh, and now I don't have anything else. Fuck.
It's bad when you run out of stories after your first story arc. I guess maybe he thought this was going to be a Marvel Comics no notice miniseries. He was kind of counting on it. Like, you want me to write something else? I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, everything else John Ridley's ever written that was supposed to be an ongoing has been retroactively turned into a miniseries. So I bet he expected it to happen here. But of course, they stuck Alex Ross covers on it, which obviously pumps the sales on otherwise unsellable comics.
It's insane because, like I said, it started out pretty good. People were enjoying the series. The sales it wasn't like a top 10 seller, but it had its nice spot right in the top 50. And ever since he's left that first story arc and started going off in a new path that is really bewildering for the character and where he had taken him so far, the sales have just tanked. And I don't think Black Panther has a really good future as far as sales and visibility in Marvel Comics as long as John Ridley is the writer. But I also think C.B. Cebulski is in a really hard place where I don't think he can fire him or remove him anytime soon.
No, I mean, John Ridley's just, he's the next Ta-Nehisi Coates at Marvel. He'll be there until he decides he wants actual money. And then they say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't give you actual money. We can give you this pocket lint and some free comics. And then they leave the same way that Coates left.
He's getting the bleeding cool deal.
Yes.
Here's a stick of gum, and I got the cover of a comic book, but I don't have the inside anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's the deal that John Ridley got here. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. The editor likely helped him a lot with the first arc of this story and kind of made it coherent. And now we're at this arc where the editor's like, all right, well, you did pretty well on the first part. I think you can get it from the rest of the way out. And they're like, okay, now we're just going to let him fail on his own.
This isn't the first time that John Ridley has dropped the ball at the big two. Recently, he was telling the other history of the DC Comics universe. And really, he was just trying to take an enormous dump on Superman. I think that was the focus of the first issue. And in so, he decided, I guess he had to take an enormous crap on Black Lightning as well. This guy truly doesn't like comic book characters, the universe, the stories, the history, but he likes the platform so he can spew his message using other people's things. If you have a mobile device, there's also a link in the video description if you'd like to watch the video.